folks, Neil here from I Will Always Love Video Games with yet another finds video. This time I didn't come up with as much as I normally do, but I did get some great finds and I ended up finding a new favorite store to pick up my retro game. So, without further ado, here's what I've got for you this week. First off, tried and true, good old Goodwill, and my favorite flea market. And from there I ended up yielding a couple of interesting titles. The classic The Oregon Trail for PC. Got that at Goodwill for $1. Not too bad. Driver, You Are the Wheelman. Too bad it's not the Black Label edition, but still, for $1 for a classic game, classic PlayStation game, not bad. I also ended up grabbing, this thing is pretty funny. I love knockoff games. I've played some really interesting knockoff games. When I was a kid, I had a Mac Performa, and I used to play a collection of basically clone games of Asteroids and Missile Command and that, and they were actually, they weren't that bad. And this kind of reminded me of that. This is the Pac. 6 different versions of Pac-Man, but not Pac-Man, Pac Guy. It actually says on the back of the package, Pac Guy, not Pac-Man, not to be confused with Pac-Man. This was $1, and again, why not? I'd like to check it out for $1. Knockoff games aren't all bad. Then I ended up hitting up my favorite flea market. I got a few things. Tomb Raider 2 Gold for PC, and it's not in a jewel case. It's actually in a cardboard case, and it's got a cool little thing on the back of join the IDOS club when you buy 2 or more IDOS titles, and it's got a couple other little promotional items on the inside. The IDOS hint line thing. It's got a cool little fold out. It's actually got a demo disc, and this is all intact. Everything works. That's kind of cool. This was also $1 little. And Tomb Raider 2 is undoubtedly my favorite in the series, so I'm pretty partial to it, and I figured, why the hell not? While I was out there, I also got my hands on another classic, Diablo 2. All the discs are in here. Everything is perfectly fine. This also cost me $1. Bought this one mainly for my wife. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. The disc is in incredible shape. I ended up paying about $2 for this one, and but my wife is a humongous Harry Potter fan, so she'll get a kick out of this when she plays it. And another IDOS title I grabbed, also for $1, Commandos 2, Men of Courage. I've actually never played this. All the discs are here, all 3 discs, and I can't wait to give it a shot. We'll see how it is. Also ended up grabbing, for the hell of it, for nostalgia purposes, Ape Escape for the PlayStation. I did not spend $5.99 on this. I actually spent 50 cents on this. And again, the disc is in great shape. I have yet to try it out, but once I do get it running, I will be playing a little bit of Ape Escape. I also found at my favorite flea market a woman who I could have sworn I've seen her before, and I asked her if she had any games, and she's like, I don't sell video games, and I'm thinking, pretty sure you do. But long story short, she goes, unless you mean the little games. I'm like, what do you mean little games? And she reached into a bag and she pulled out a couple of handhelds, and I got each of these for about $3, and they included this version of Pac-Man, which I've never seen before. Sadly enough, it does not work properly. It has sound. It's one of those old LCD screens, so it's kind of, the screen itself is kind of messed up. The sounds are there, the actions work, you just can't see the screen. If anyone out there knows a way to fix this problem with an LCD game, please let me know, because I want to give this a shot. And the other game I ended up grabbing is Classic Basketball for Mattel. This is not the original. It's actually a 2003 remake. Reproduction, but this one does indeed work. I don't know if you can see the lights on here, but it does work. You can hear it now. Yeah. So for $3 a piece, it's nice to have the Pac-Man one, just because it's Pac-Man and it's cool, and this one actually works. So in the long run, the $6 spent was well worth it. I hit up my second Goodwill and came across an oddity. It's not really much of a game, but it involves two of my favorite things, which is paint programs and Animaniacs. So I had to pick this up. And I did spend $3 on this, but it's completely sealed. The box is a little bit dented. It's Crazy Paint On Location Interactive Coloring Book, Animaniacs Edition. Again, the box is kind of dented and beat up. You can see the dent right there. But it's still sealed. I might pop it in and do a little bit of coloring, or maybe I'll give it to my son. But it's the Animaniacs, and I grew up watching Animaniacs. I couldn't pass this up. Again, $3, completely sealed. Not bad. Then, I ended up going to a store. I took a trip upstate, and there are a couple of stores I wanted to go and see up there that I'd never seen before. One of them had this little baby. This was so cool to find. It was $5, and it is... Can't really see it, it keeps getting a glare. This is Sword Quest Earthworld. And it's the complete cartridge. I've tested the cartridge, it works. And the manual, which the manual is instrumental in playing the game, although it would have been nice to have the accompanying comic book to help, because, yeah, you kind of need the comic book too. But, again, in great shape with the book for $5, considering how hard, well, semi-hard it is to find these games, especially the last one of the trilogy, even though there were supposed to be 4. For $5, this was a pretty good find. And then I ended up hitting up a store that a friend of mine had told me about, but I never got a chance to go because I rarely get a chance to go upstate. And I had a couple extra bucks, and I am glad I went to this place. I'm not going to say the name of it, but it's, let's just say, they had a lot of retro stuff. And if I had gone up there with a few $100, I would, this video would have so much stuff it would take a half hour to cover. But what I ended up grabbing from this place was Demon Sword on the NES. Great game. Also picked up a couple of really old carts. Astro Blast and Astro Smash. I just like the fact that they both kind of have the same name, and obviously, you know, one is in television and one is Atari, but still, it's pretty cool to have them. Those were dirt cheap too. Those were $1 a piece. But the biggest selection they had for games, and again, I wish I had a few $100 to spend while I was there, were Game Boy games. They had a ton of Game Boy games, and might I say that the Game Boy, the original Game Boy, is probably my favorite console all time. If I can't even tell you the hours I spent on the 5 Mega Man games for the original Game Boy, which I still have. So to see a huge Game Boy selection just made me so happy, and I ended up grabbing a little stack. If I had more money, I would have grabbed a much bigger stack. With a couple of interesting titles, a little, you know, the like arcadey trapping games, kind of like Lode Runner. I ended up getting Hyanki Alien, which is in the same vein, as well as a game I'd never heard of before, Boomer's Adventure in Asmic World. They're both along the same lines where you have to run around and dig holes to trap your enemies and then cover them up, and that's how you get out of the level. These were both really, really cheap. They were about $2 each. Then we started getting to the bigger stuff. I used to have this next game as a kid. I ended up trading it away, and I couldn't get my hands on it again, and this store had it for $3.50. Could not pass it up. Solomon's Club in the Solomon series. Great puzzle game. Really, for such an old Game Boy game, the animation with Solomon coming in with the stars and everything, very fluid animation. It was, even back then, it showed what the Game Boy was capable of. Then the last two I picked up, they had one copy of this. It was $6. I could not pass it up, and that is DuckTales 2. Sadly, it's not the regular edition. It's the Player's Choice Million Seller edition. But again, the first DuckTales is pretty common to find. DuckTales 2, not so much. And if they had the DuckTales NES edition, no matter how much it would have cost, I would have picked it up. But they didn't, sadly. But at least I had the Game Boy version. And the last one I found is Conker's Pocket Tales. This isn't like the N64 game at all. It's rated E for everyone. It's much more lighthearted in nature. But the cool thing about this is you'll notice it's in a black cart and it doesn't say Game Boy Color, but this is a Game Boy Color cart. It's actually a dual cart. If you play it in a regular Game Boy, you'll have your regular black and white colors. If you play it in a Game Boy Color or up, like in Advance, you'll have it in color. So it's really cool. It's kind of an oddity to see a dual cart, especially for the $4 I spent on it, which not bad at all. And the last thing I want to share with you guys, I have a really cool story behind. And it involves this game, which if you haven't played this game, you are missing out on one of the best games of this past generation. Period. The Witcher 2, Assassin of Kings. Now, the thing about this is I already owned this game through GOG, Good Old Games, GOG.com. I had the digital version, but I didn't have a physical copy. This was at my local Kmart, and I came across it. It's sealed, and it's got the bonus material DVD. It's got the soundtrack. It's got the art book and strategy guide. And I thought, you know, for the $7.50 that it says on here, I can't pass this up. $7.50 for the entire package, completely sealed. So I went in with the full intention of spending the $7.50 to get this. Brought it up to the register, and the lady rung it up, and you know, came up as $5. Apparently, it was on an even steeper clearance. Okay, cool. I got it for $5. Well, she asked me if I had a Kmart club card, and I think in the past 3 years I've probably bought 4 or 5 things from Kmart. So I couldn't remember if I had one or not. So I just gave her my phone number, and she looked it up, and apparently I had $5 in surprise points. So yes, folks, I got this absolutely 100% free. The $5 surprise point credit went to this game. So now I have The Witcher 2 Assassin of Kings, the Collector's Edition, for free. And Pixar didn't happen. Here's my receipt. I don't know if you can see it there. There, it says right there, surprise points. There we go. Witcher 2, absolutely free. How can I possibly complain about that? How can I not be excited about that? I love game chasing. So, until next time, this is what I've got for you, and I'm going to continue to look for stuff, and you should too. If you have a couple extra dollars in your wallet, and you see a thrift store, or a swap meet, or anything like that, stop, take a look, because you never know what you'll find. Again, my name is Neil, and I will always love video games. See you next time.